The walk starts at the Sticklebarn National Trust car park in Great Langdale. We take the left of two paths ascending Stickle Ghyll until we reach the Stickle Tarn at 15. From here we head in a northeasterly direction, follow Bright Beck. We then ascend the steep flanks of Pavey Ark and reach the summit at just under 2,300 feet. From here we head southwest, skirting the north side of Harrison Stickle until we begin a steep descent between Thorn and Loft Crags, running parallel to the Dungeon Beck. We pass the impressive Dungeon Ghyll force, we descend to the car park. Today's walk was taking place in Great Langdale in the English Lake District. The weather forecast was fair, although some dark ominous clouds were seen on the horizon on the drive there. Langdale, meaning Long Valley in Old Norse, is centrally located at the heart of the English Lake District. It epitomises many of the attributes and qualities which underpin the unique landscape of this area. The wonderful valley of Great Langdale looked as impressive as always when the weather improved and the clouds began to disperse. It is a classic glacial valley with a long and well-documented history. During the 19th and 20th centuries, it attracted many renowned writers and artists, and it also played a key role in the development of the conservation movement. Weather's looking a bit better now. What time did we get up? Let's have a look. 10:30. Perfect. Good job. Right, I want you to be good. Look out the rest of your breakfast. Say hello, Nate, and be good. Come on, have a good pat. We're about to set off now up Stickle Ghyll, up to Stickle Tarn, Pavey Ark, over then to Harrison Stickle. Should take us about 6 hours, maybe 5 if we're quick on our feet this morning. And then back down to the Sticklebarn for something to eat a little bit later on this afternoon.
Carrying your food, your board.
Yeah, you do. Rough way. Nice harness with 2 pannies. Yeah, I just want to pay a visit.
Oh, I see.
I've had more days away today.
We also didn't anticipate the large number of fell runners milling around the Stickle Barn, and it appeared that there was some form of organised race taking place. Some people were going up, some coming down, but we never saw them again on the whole of our walk. We were surprised to hear screaming coming from Stickle Ghyll, and thought that there must be a large number of excited children playing. Stickle Ghyll is a popular spot for groups of young people participating in outdoor gill scrambling activity days. Gill scrambling involves working your way up or down rocks and in and out of water whilst being doused by a pristine Lake District beck. It is a popular pastime for all ages, and I would suspect it is a good filler for those rainy days in the Lake District. It rains a lot up here. It's the lakes. There are a number of outdoor activity businesses that run gill scrambling days, and this particular location is popular due to the proximity of the car park, public toilets, and the excellent Sticklebarn for refreshments. The word gill is derived from Old Norse and means a deep glen. It would appear that the cold water can come as a shock to some. As we leave Sticklebarn behind, the view across the valley begins to open up. On the opposite side of the valley is Lingmore Fell and the distinctive silhouette of Side Pike, which overlooks Bright Tarn.
What a wonderful day. I thought it was going to be quiet up here this morning. You get this rabble. What's going on? In the summer, we're going to come up here. That pool there. Yeah, when the water is a bit calmer, it's crystal clear, deep, blue water. We're going to sit in there and we're going to drink beer. Yeah? That's what we're going to do. And all these kids are at school. Anyway, let's carry on back up.
The Lake District's location on the northwest coast, coupled with its mountainous geography, makes it the wettest part of England. The UK Met Office reports average annual rainfall of more than 2,000 millimetres, about 80 inches. The Lake District has milder winters and cooler summers than would normally be expected at this latitude due to the influence of the sea, particularly the Gulf Stream. The prevailing westerly winds across the Atlantic Ocean picking up large amounts of moisture. The air hits the Lake District hills and is forced to rise where it cools and condenses to form rain. This is called orographic rainfall.
Now 10 minutes ago, before we got here, we had no idea that there was a hydro scheme in place, but this sign here under the arms says that this water running under this bridge generates 360,000 kilowatts per year, sufficient energy to power 90 local homes. Fantastic.
Just enough to power the wide hairdryer.
The climate, together with the geology of the area, has made the Lake District what it is today. In the last 2 million years, a series of ice ages left the area buried under glaciers. These rivers of ice carved deep lakes and U-shaped valleys between the hills. It was William Wordsworth who first compared the pattern of ridges and valleys of the Lake District to the spokes of a wheel, where the hard, erosion-resistant igneous rocks of the Borrowdale Volcanics Group form the high central hub, from which the glaciated valleys radiate outwards in every direction. Langdale runs west to east from these high central fells, with Bowfell and Crinkle Crags at its head, before meeting with the adjoining Grasmere, Rydal and Ambleside valleys at the head of Windermere. It is a stunning example of a U-shaped glaciated valley with the typical features of glacial tarns, hanging valleys and truncated spurs, all well represented. The distinctive skyline of the Langdale Pikes dominates the valley and can be seen for miles around. Unusually for a Lake District valley of this size, Langdale does not contain a major lake. Despite being one of the busier valleys, Langdale has a strong sense of tranquility as a result of the dramatic landform and the perceived naturalness of the high open fells. The valley has long held historic and cultural associations with rock climbing, with routes on the steep crags on the north side of the valley being climbed as early as the beginning of the 19th century. The valley is also busy with walkers following paths such as the Langdale Pikes, Bowfell, Crinkle Crags and a route to Scarfell Pike amongst many others. Great Langdale Beck flows along the valley floor into Elterwater and from there feeds into Windermere itself. The steep valley sides provide a powerful sense of enclosure, and the rough texture of the crags, screes and rocky outcrops, together with the rough grazing and extensive bracken beds, contrast markedly with the flat, lush green and strongly patterned valley floor. The managed appearance of the valley is created by the typical features associated with hill farming practice, such as the patchwork of irregularly shaped pasture fields enclosed by stone walls, veteran trees, pollards. In the distance we have Pike Oblisco leading down to Bleabury Knott, with a high peak of Weatherlamp on the horizon. Hidden behind the dark outline of Side Pike is Bleed Tarn. Side Pike leads on to Lingmore Fell, which rises high above the valley floor. Stickle Tarn is a small glacial tarn near the bottom of Harrison Stickle. The word tarn is derived from a Norse word, tjorn, meaning teardrop. The tarn was enlarged by the building of a stone dam in 1838, and the water was then used to supply a gunpowder works built by David Huddleston at nearby Elterwater. He founded the works when he was 58 years old and soon found that the industry was a perilous one, for in August 1827 he stated that he had had 3 serious blow-ups in the space of 2 months. However, business flourished and the Elterwater works expanded. A dam was constructed on Stickle Ghyll and its completion was marked by a wheelbarrow race down the fell side for the navvies, the first down getting 2 gallons of ale as his prize. The Elterwater works closed in 1828. The tarn is used to supply water to the inhabitants of Langdale. In February 2015, it was put up for sale by the Lake District National Park Authority. path known as Jack's Rake running diagonally up the cliff face of Pavey Ark can clearly be seen from lower right to upper left of the precipice. Windermere, which comes from the Old Norse meaning Winand's Lake, is England's largest lake and can be clearly seen from the dam on Stickle Tarn. Windermere is just over 11 miles long and has a depth of 219 feet. Historically, the outlet from the Tarn was called Mill Beck or Mill Ghyll. More recently, it has been noted on the Ordnance Survey maps as Stickle Ghyll, using the Romantic poet's spelling of Ghyll. As Alfred Wainwright said in his pictorial guide, Pavey Ark is Langdale's biggest cliff. In an area where crags and precipices abound, here is the giant of them all. The view of the Ark across the waters of Stickle Tarn at its foot is superior to all others of this type in Lakeland.
What's happened there? Maybe the wrong attire for the job. Something like that. Could be. It's a schoolboy error. Even though he's on his Duke of Edinburgh's.
Is that the schoolboy?
Schoolboy. Even the dog's got dry feet.
It's that long since he last came out.
Wainwright notes that Jack's Rake is classed as a rock climb and states as a walk it is both difficult and awkward. He also goes on to say although Jack's Rake climbs high across the face of a fearful precipice, there is curious little sense of exposure. Bright Beck runs in the valley which separates Sergeant Man from Thunachar Knot and is the main feeder of Stickle Tarn. The public footpath to the top of Pavey Ark is very indistinct along this valley. The ridge leading from Bleerig to the clear summit of Sergeant Man forms one half of the valley down which Bright Beck runs. Sergeant Man is 2,414 feet high and the 70th highest peak in the Lake District. The summit of Pavey Ark is an unexpected surprise. It is quite grassy with random rocky outcrops and a scattering of very small tarns. The views are extensive, encompassing Bleerig and rising up to Sergeant Man, with the Helvellyn range in the distance behind them, passing over to the high raised plateau and then sweeping down to Thunachar Knot. Langdale has seen human occupation from the Stone Age through to the present day. The small road rising up to Bright Tarn and passing over to Little Langdale appears in written documents as far back as 1216. The views from the summit of Pavey Ark are extensive, and Esthwaite Water can be seen when looking south. Langdale Valley inspired the poems and writings of a number of romantic poets. Bright Tarn, separating Great and Little Langdales, was the setting for Wordsworth's poem The Excursion. Weatherlam stands quite proud on the horizon. Its height of just over 2,500 feet makes it the 55th highest peak in the Lake District, although it appears to be much higher from this vantage point. Bright Tarn, on the road between Great and Little Langdales, is a popular spot for photographers hoping to catch a classic picture of the reflections of the Langdale pikes on the still, mirror-like surface of the tarn. Neolithic axe production sites are numerous in Great Langdale, particularly around Pike of Stickle. Extensive remains still survive, and stone axes produced here were traded widely throughout the British Isles. The axe factories still comprise one of the most important prehistoric sites in Britain. The path takes a steep descent to the rear of Harrison Stickle, drops down to cross the infant Dungeon Ghyll and thread between Loft Crag and Thorn Crag. Loft Crag is number 3 of the group of fell tops known as the Langdale Pikes, and is situated directly above the well-known climbing ground of Gimmer Crag. Dungeon Ghyll drains the shallow basin behind Harrison Stickle and drops in a deep chasm between Harrison Stickle to the left and Thorn Crag to the right.
I've set off from the old Dungeon Ghyll and we've come up the Snake Pass and we're going over to come down towards the new Dungeon Ghyll. So we've set off at having a pint and we're going back having a pint.
This is it, girls.
Yes.
Farming settlements have existed in Langdale since before the Vikings came. The current farm buildings of Stool End, Middlefell Farm and Wall End have been in existence since the 17th century, as has Bright Tarn House, which has also been a working farm. The current farmers of Langdale are sheep farmers, with their main breed being the distinctive and white-faced Herdwick sheep. The Herdwick is a breed of sheep native to the Lake District, and the name Herdwick is again derived from the Old Norse Herdvik, meaning sheep pasture. Herdwicks are prized for their robust health, their ability to live solely on forage, and their tendency to be territorial and not to stray over the difficult upland territory of the Lake District. The wool of a Herdwick has unique qualities relating to durability. Thick, bristle-type fibres will often protrude from garments, forming a protective barrier in blizzards, most likely the same qualities that protect the sheep in similar conditions. Herdwicks have been known to survive under a blanket of snow for up to 3 days whilst eating their own wool. Langdale's introduction to tourism was relatively late and focused on the attraction of rock climbing. It was one of the few places not to feature in Thomas West's Guide to the Lakes. From the late 18th century, farmers' families acted as mountain guides. Catering to the growing rock climbing and fell walking market, the Elterwater Hostel first opened as a youth hostel in 1939. The Akhil Ratti Climbing Club, known as the ARCC, was founded by Bishop T.B. Pearson in 1940 and is still going strong with about 800 members. The headquarters and the largest climbing hut of the club is at Bishop's Scale, a converted large barn near Rawhead Farm in Great Langdale. The numbers of people, the 3 hotels and the campsites in the west part of the valley, together with the more numerous accommodation providers in the east, do absolutely nothing to detract from the abundant natural beauty which makes Langdale such an iconic and popular location.
So, where are we?
A grand walk, that, Mike.
Where are we now?
Sticklebarn, is it?
Are we just rebalancing our fluids?
Yeah, we're just getting a few fluids in.
Steve's very efficient.
Do not disturb me. This is more important than that at this point in
Are
time.
you just ticking us off to see that we've arrived okay? Mr. Clipboard now.
This is it. Risk assessment. Everything ticked off.
Yeah.
Safely returned.
Except his trainers.
Wrong attire.
Too much risk with them.
Yeah.
A few slips, a few falls, nothing broken, could be worse.
Yeah.
A lot worse.
Well, cracking day.
Yeah.
Weather's done as well. Just had a nice meal in the Stickle Barn. It's time to let this man do all the work driving back now, I think, while we put our feet up and chill out for the next couple of hours.
I have a snooze myself.
Yeah, I
Are you
think all the
gonna
part.
spread out on the back seat, mate?
Yeah, I think, well, within reason.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Make use
take
of
it
the
easy.
space.
Yeah, makes it use of the space and let him drive. Yeah.
Just hope you get some sleep. Might have a barker in the back.
Yeah.
Right, well, let's crack on.
Fantastic.
Right, do you want to put anything else in?
Put this on back seats. Unless you want to spread out on back seat, Mike.
Not me.